Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to go my review of Survivor Series 1997. Starting off the evening, we go to our first match of the night. It is your traditional Survivor Series matchup. It is the new Blackjacks, the Headbangers versus the Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, and the Godwins. I thought it was a good opening matchup for Survivor Series 97. Back and forth matchup between both teams. Barry Windham and Phineas were the ones that started the matchup. Bradshaw hits a power slam. Bradshaw then also hits a roll-up on Henry Godwin, pins for the 3. Henry Godwin is now eliminated from this matchup. Phineas then hits a clothesline on Barry Windham, pins for the 3. Barry Windham is also eliminated from this matchup. Billy Gunn then hits his finish on Mosh, pins for the 3. Mosh is also eliminated from this match. Thrasher then hits a meteor on off the top rope on Phineas, pins for the 3. Phineas is now eliminated from this match. Road Dogg then hits roll-up on Bradshaw, pins for the 3. Bradshaw is now eliminated from this match. Billy Gunn then hits a Famouser off the top rope on Thrasher, pins for the 3. Thrasher is now eliminated from this matchup as well. And your winners of the match are Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, and the Godwins. Hats off to Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, and the Godwins for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night as well. It is the Disciples of Apocalypse versus Truth Commission. I thought it was an okay matchup. Back and forth match between both teams with the Interrogator and James starting the matchup. Interrogator hits a devastating sidewalk slam on James, pins him for the 3. James is now eliminated from this matchup. One of the DOA members ends up hitting a sidewalk slam on Jackal, pins for the 3. Jackal is now eliminated from this match as well. Another member from the DOA ended up hitting a clothesline on Recon, pins for the 3. Recon is now eliminated from this match as well. One of the Truth Commission members ends up landing a bulldog on one of the DOA members, pins for the 3, and another DOA member is now eliminated from this matchup as well. The Interrogator ends up hitting a sidewalk slam on another DOA member, pins for the 3. DOA member is now eliminated from this matchup. Crush then hits a power slam on Sniper, pins for the 3. Sniper is also eliminated from this match. Then the Interrogator ends up hitting another sidewalk slam on Crush, pins him for the 3, and Crush is also eliminated from this match. And your winners of this matchup are Truth Commission. Hats off to Truth Commission for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It's another traditional Survivor Series matchup. It is Team USA versus Team Canada. I thought this was a relatively good matchup. Back and forth matchup between both teams. Mark Merrow and the British Bulldog end up starting this matchup. Bulldog ends up hitting a power slam on Vader. Blackman then is counted out. He is eliminated from this matchup. Vader then hits a splash on Jim Neidhart. Jim Neidhart is now eliminated from this matchup. Vader then hits a splash on the top rope on Philip LaFon, pins him for the 3. Philip LaFon is now eliminated from this match as well. Doug Furnas ends up hitting a roll-up on Mark Merrow, pins for the 3. Mark Merrow is also eliminated from this matchup. Vader then smacks Goldust due to the fact that every time Vader went to go tag Goldust in the match, Goldust wanted no part of it. He was also wearing a cast on his hand. Goldust did not want to be a part of this matchup. Goldust then gets counted out. He walks out of the ring, walks down the aisle back to the backstage area. He gets counted out. Now he's eliminated from this matchup. Vader then hits a devastating Vader bomb on Doug Furnas. Pins for the 3. Doug Furnas is now eliminated from this matchup as well. Bulldog then hits Vader with a bell with the referee being distracted. Pins for the 3. And Vader is also eliminated from this matchup. And your winners of the match are Team Canada. Hats off to Team Canada for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It is Kane versus Mankind. I thought this was a great match. Back and forth matchup between both Kane and Mankind, with Kane keeping the pace of the match. Mankind ends up hitting Kane with a chair shot. Mankind then also hits a pile driver on Kane in the middle of the ring. Mankind then applies a mandible claw on Paul Bear that is ringside. Kane then throws Mankind off the top of the apron down to the announce table below. Mankind then hits a DDT on Kane. Kane then throws Mankind off the top rope to the outside, and then Kane hits his signature tombstone on Mankind, pinning him for the 3, and your winner of the match is Kane. Hats off to Kane for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night as well. It is another traditional Survivor Series matchup. It is the Nation of Domination versus Ken Shamrock, Road Warriors, and Ahmed Johnson. I thought this was a relatively good matchup as well. Back and forth matchup between both teams. D'Lo Brown and Hawk ended up starting this matchup. D'Lo hits a pile driver Rock then gets involved, hits a rock bottom on Hawk, pins for the 3. Hawk is now eliminated from this matchup. Ahmed Johnson ends up hitting a Pearl River plunge on Farouk, pins for the 3. Farouk is now eliminated from this match. Farouk is sitting ringside, ends up grabbing Ahmed Johnson's leg. Rock then goes for the cover, pins for the 3, and Ahmed Johnson is now eliminated from this matchup. Animal then hits a roll-up on Kama, pins for the 3. Kama is also eliminated from this match. Animal then hits a devastating power slam on D'Lo Brown. Road Dogg and Billy Gunn make their way down to the ring. Billy Gunn and Road Dogg end up attacking Animal. Referee counts out Animal to 10, and Animal is also eliminated from this match as well. Ken Shamrock then applies an ankle lock on D'Lo Brown. D'Lo Brown is now eliminated from this match. Rock then hits a DDT on Shamrock as well as a People's Elbow. Ken Shamrock then gets up, hits a Hurricane Rana. Then Shamrock ultimately applies his signature ankle lock on The Rock, and The Rock taps out. And your winners of the match are Ken Shamrock, the Road Warriors, and Ahmed Johnson. Hats off to Ken Shamrock, the Road Warriors, and Ahmed Johnson for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night as well. It is for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. It is Owen Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. I thought this was a great match. And the way that we're hyping this match up, it was kind of a revenge match for Stone Cold Steve Austin after what Owen did to Steve Austin in a prior match. It was the infamous pile driver that Owen Hart landed on Stone Cold Steve Austin and actually almost broke his neck. It could have ended his career. This was kind of a revenge match for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like I said, it was a back and forth matchup. Neidhart then goes to attack Austin, but Austin quickly hits a Stone Cold Stunner on Neidhart. Owen was keeping the pace after that, but Austin ultimately hits a stunner on Owen Hart, pins him for the 3, and your winner of the match, and at that time, new WWE Intercontinental Champion, is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It is the main event of Survivor Series 1997. It is Shawn Michaels defending the WWE Championship against Bret Hart. I thought this was a great match. Back and forth matchup between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Shawn was keeping the pace throughout the match, with him quickly applying a sharpshooter on Bret Hart. The referee thought that Bret Hart ended up tapping out, but he did not. Goes to ring the bell, and your winner of the match, and still WWE Champion, or new WWE Champion, I should say, is Shawn Michaels. Bret Hart was defending the championship. Shawn was not defending the belt. Bret Hart was defending the WWE Championship in this matchup. This match is going to live in infamy in professional wrestling. This is and was the Montreal Screwjob. This was a rough time, I think, for Bret Hart and WWE. I think him and Vince were having a falling out, obviously. There was a lot of rumors at that time that Bret was going to WCW. And I don't think Vince wanted Bret to... I think he had an ongoing fear that Bret was going to walk into WCW or walk into Ted Turner's office with the World Wrestling Federation Championship. And I think Vince, kind of pulled the plug on that and had Shawn Michaels go over in this matchup. So much to a point where they actually had Shawn Michaels apply Bret Hart's signature sharpshooter on Bret Hart and have him supposedly tap out to his own finish. Clearly there was a disagreement and some, falling out between Vince and Bret Hart. And I remember, Bret Hart standing in a ring and taking his finger and, trying to spell out WCW. Obviously Bret was going to WCW. It just wasn't going to happen. And I also think this too, and a lot of people might disagree with this. I think Bret Hart's time in WWE at that time was cut short. Not in the aspect of he didn't have enough time in WWE. I feel as if there was nothing else more for Bret to do in WWE. To be honest with you, he was such a babyface, and he had a lot of phenomenal matchups. Matchups against Owen Hart, matchups against Yokozuna, matchups against Shawn Michaels. Obviously the Hart Foundation. Bret Hart did a lot of stuff in WWE, and maybe it was time for Bret to go over to another company such as WCW to see what he can do over there. And there was a lot of good talent over in WCW as well, not just WWE. So do I think Bret had the same amount of career that he had in WCW that he did in WWE? Hell no. Absolutely not. I think Bret, obviously had a better career for himself in WWE. He made a name for himself. He was a household name in WWE. His WCW run was kind of lackluster, to be honest with you. I don't know why or how they were booking him back when he joined WCW, but it was horrendous. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he also was a part of the NWO, if I'm not mistaken on that. And which was kind of crazy because NWO was a heel team. Bret Hart obviously being the babyface, and even towards his end of his tenure in WWE, he was a heel. I mean, he was all for, Canada. He was always talking smack about the USA, kind of building up his own hype about being a heel. And, obviously the Montreal Screwjob, kind of ended Bret's career in WWE. But this was one of those matches that are always going to live in infamy with WWE, synonymous in professional wrestling. I mean, this is one of those matches that you really don't see very often in professional wrestling. And to see this match again from the Montreal Screwjob is just absolutely insane. I mean, there's been so many documentaries about this, Montreal Screwjob, that it's unreal. And a lot of people thought that Triple H was in on it. Shawn Michaels was in on it. Vince was obviously on it, in on it. And Shawn Michaels has denied it. Triple H has denied it as well. But obviously there was something going on backstage where somebody knew something was going on. For all intents and purposes, I'm not saying this happened or this didn't happen, but Vince could have pulled Shawn Michaels to the side before he walked out to the ring and said, hey, we need you to go over and beat Bret Hart before he might possibly take that championship and go to WCW. I mean, some people need to realize, too, that I believe it was Medusa who brought over the WWE Women's Championship and threw it into a trash can on WCW Nitro on national television. I don't only imagine if Bret Hart took the WWE Championship over to WCW on national TV on WCW Nitro and take that WWE Championship and just throw it in the dumpster. I mean, it would be insane. I mean, you haven't seen anything like that since, obviously, Medusa throwing the trash can, her championship into a trash can on national TV. Then you had Shane Douglas, do the whole thing with the NWA Championship and then proclaim himself as the new ECW champion. I mean, that's also another crazy moment in professional wrestling that will never be done again. So this match was absolutely awesome. I mean, Survivor Series 97, for what it's worth, I mean, for a rating from 1 out of 10, I'm going to give it a solid 6 at best. And the main reason why, I thought the Survivor Series matchups were kind of bad, to be honest with you. And honestly, I could possibly give this a 7. The main reason why I'm giving this possibly a 7 out of 10, 7 as a, for a rating is based upon 2 matches. I mean, you have Owen Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin for the Intercontinental Championship. That story writes itself. Like I said, it was a revenge match for Stone Cold Steve Austin after what Owen did in that pile driver that almost ended Stone Cold Steve Austin's career, almost broke his neck. And then obviously the Montreal Screwjob, Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. And the way they were hyping this matchup before the match even took place was the best versus the best. And honestly, they're not wrong. I mean, Bret Hart, there's people out there that love Bret Hart and there's people that hate Bret Hart. But you got to give credit where credit's due, man. That guy is the definition of a professional wrestler. Hands down. Shawn Michaels was the total package, man. Shawn Michaels had a great promo. Probably one of the best, if not the best, in-ring performer in professional wrestling of all time, in my honest opinion. And they don't call him, obviously they call him Mr. WrestleMania for a reason. I mean, the guy has fantastic moments throughout his career, and this was just one of them. Some people hate the Montreal Screwjob, but this was a moment that's going to live in history of professional wrestling. A lot of people want to look past this, but at the same time, this was definitely something that changed the game in professional wrestling in 1997. And obviously had Bret Hart leave to go to WCW. So it was a big, big move on what Vince McMahon did and what Shawn Michaels did in this matchup. It definitely was history in the making for sure. But I'm going to give Survivor Series 1997, I think I'm going to give it a solid 7, to be honest with you. I think it was a decent Survivor Series. Obviously wasn't the best, but it damn sure was not the worst. So I'm going to give Survivor Series 1997 a solid 7 at best. But this is my review of Survivor Series 1997. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful, and remember, stay classic.